After 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to review American Ninja Warrior! Hello, my name is William from 222 Productions, and I am here to talk to you about American Ninja Warrior Season 12, qualifying match number 1, in approximately 30 minutes or less, starting now. So, brand new season premiere, different format. I think that's one of the big takeaways right now, is that, completely different format this time around. So, as mentioned previously, only 150 people competed in this season, so that's an average of 37.5 competitors per heat. So it'll be interesting to see how it got split up. And for the first round of the 4 qualifiers, the 38 or 37 people will take on a 6 obstacle course where the top 12 and top 3 women will move on. The top 3 women are only if less than 3 women don't qualify in the top 12. And I thought that this was an enjoyable episode. I rather enjoyed watching it, and I thought the course was fun. Some editing magic had to be done, as I'll get to in a little bit. Just want to say something right off the bat. Quick correction: Matisse was not on Drew's team, and I'd like to apologize for that. I acted incorrectly in regards to that information. I can tell you, however, that Drew was in this episode. He did compete in this episode. He got cut completely, and they did their best to just remove any sort of reference to him throughout the entire episode. Both his teammates got fast forwarded, and fast forwarded in a way where you can't see Drew on the sidelines anywhere. Those 2 people being Julius Ferguson and Taylor Johnson, who you saw towards the end of the episode get fast forward. So they also just completely scrubbed his result, as we'll kind of discuss in a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'll just say it right now. So what happened was, if you saw my preview, or if you read ANW Nation, you might have read that they're doing a thing where the top 2 competitors can compete in a power tower in an attempt to save their teammates and bring them to the semifinals. Drew was actually the fastest clear of this week's episode, not Jody. Jody was number 2. I was told that Drew finished about 30 seconds faster. That could be give or take, However, I was also told that Jody handily won the power tower against Drew. So both of his teammates, neither of who qualified, I believe. Yeah, because it was his wife and Rajet Maddox who both failed the second obstacle. They get to move on to the semifinals. So they just completely skipped the power tower, oddly enough. So the editing was a bit weird in that regard, because there's no mention of it, and I am very interested to see if next week they're just like, oh, by the way, power tower rules and all that, and they just sort of pretend that it happened in the first episode, but not really. So we'll have to see what happens with that, because it's very interesting. The editing's a bit weird. According to ANW Nation, there were 37 competitors. Well, they said 37. There was actually 38 because Drew competed in this one. And by my count, there were 14 runs shown in full and 19 fast forwards, which means 5 people got skipped completely. Now, obviously, one of them was Drew, but one of the big noticeable omissions was Jody Avila, who, not Jody Avila, was John Alexis Jr., who they showed his 2 teammates run the course, but they didn't show him complete the course and finish in the top 12, which is kind of weird that they didn't do that. But let's talk about the course itself. That's enough of the, I guess you can say, some of the behind-the-scenes info. At least for now. I might have some for you next week, depending on, I don't know, what happens, I guess. So the course this time around for Qualifier 1 was the shrinking steps, followed by Wait For It. Wait For It is 4 lache bars, but each pair are connected by pulleys. So when you grab the first one, the second one lifts up, and then you jump, and you have to grab the second one as it's falling, and then you do that again. You can static to the third one very easily, then you got to do that transition again. When there were bigger competitors on that obstacle, especially let's see, Cameron Wimbley, you can hear the entire structure just shaking as he's swinging. You can hear the creaking of it. The bigger guys definitely move that obstacle around. I like the obstacle. It reminds me of the lifts from Super Mario Brothers. What are they called? I actually have them up here on the computer. I think they are called scale lifts. The scale lift of the original Super Mario Brothers, where you go on the platforms and if you go too far, it falls off. I am willing to bet that someone was thinking of Super Mario Brothers, which is actually thematically appropriate because the original Sasuke was inspired by Super Mario Brothers. So, good job, ANW, on sticking to your roots, even if it was unintentional. And then it was Ring Chaser. So this obstacle is a series of monkey bars, and when you grab the first bar, it sets off a switch that releases a ring down the track, and you have to make your way down the monkey bars to try to grab the ring, and then you can do a skyhook jump with the ring. The ring that you're trying to catch is 14 inches, I believe they said, in diameter, but if you fail, then you have to use an 8-inch ring, and it has a stick coming out with 2 bars on the side. It looks like a stick figure with no hands and no arms. You have to use that, and it's harder to nail the landing. We saw a few people either slide off because it's easier for that ring to slide off, or they miss the jump. They miss aim. I heard about this obstacle back when they were building the LA course, back before this pandemic started. In LA, this was originally supposed to be part of the LA course. I was not sold on it originally, but I like it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun to watch. And then was Rib Run, which are a series of swinging arms with platforms on them that swing out when you step on them. Immediately, the first thing I thought of was, I believe it's called the Rib Rage obstacle. It might actually be called Rib Run, now that I think about it. But Wipeout, in one of the versions of the Wipeout zone, they had a rib obstacle called Rib Rage or Rib Run, one of the two. And it operated in a very similar way, except it was a quarter circle path. But every time you stepped on the platform, it would soon it would give out underneath you. So you had to be light on your feet and run across. The only difference is the Wipeout obstacle was harder than this one, but it's a unique balance obstacle, and I liked it. And then it's the return of the Slingshot. Big fan of Slingshot. I liked from last year. Good to see it back. And then is the Warped Wall and the Mega Wall. Important to note that they went back to the ANW 10 Mega Wall rules, in that you get one attempt at the Mega Wall, and if you do it, you get $10,000. If you fail it, you get to go to the smaller Warped Wall, but you only get one attempt instead of the normal 3 attempts. Now, unlike past seasons, this time the Mega Wall decision actually is a pretty big deal, because the top 12 move on regardless of how many cleared, which means that if you earn the Mega Wall, like, yes, you get $10,000, but if 12 people finish the course faster than you, then that means that you don't move on. So it's an actual risk, unlike past mega walls, which I like. I like that feeling. So I like this course. One of the things that feels very different about this season is that, well, the fact that a first round course this season has, so few people. Usually it's about 100, and this time it was 38, which means that we got to see almost everyone run, but more importantly, it means that ANW couldn't be as choosy with who they show. So we saw a lot of randoms run the course, a lot of rookies, a lot of people who are either rookies or lesser known, which means we saw a lot of early clears, a lot of second obstacle, third obstacle clears. Sorry, not clears, fails. Second, third obstacle fails. I mean, we saw second and third obstacle clears also. That makes sense. But I think showing, I guess, normal people run the course is good because it reminds the competitors it reminds the audience that it is a hard course. This course isn't easy. If they had invited 150 elites, then these courses would have been demolished. We would have had most people reaching the fifth obstacle. And as interesting as that is as a competition, it doesn't make for as good of TV. You got to remember, ANW is not a sport. It is a game show. It is a television show. You got to be entertaining. And actually, and for the record, sports are supposed to be entertaining also. So it kind of goes both ways. So we're going to go through when it comes to the first rounds of any ANW season. I don't typically go run for run like I do with other later episodes, but just sort of get through some of the stuff. So we got to see Pauline Avila, who is Jody Avila's wife. She's working she works in a hospital, having to deal with all the stuff that's happening with COVID. And I imagine doing Ninja Warrior is just like a big vacation for her. So, thank you for your service. Pauline, it was great. It was nice seeing. I like seeing Cameron Wembley run the course. The last time he ran, I believe they said it was ANW 4, where he completed the course, the qualifier course. He's, oh my goodness, you could hear that 240 pound, you can hear that structure shaking. Alyssa Beard was part of a team of teachers. I believe neither of them cleared, but she ended up completing the whole course. One thing that they're doing this year also is that since you can't have family or friends on the sideline, only your two teammates are on the sideline, they were doing virtual webcam audience members, kind of like what WWE is doing now with the Thunderdome, and also what other sports are doing. I believe NBA is trying to do like a virtual thing, but WWE, they do it the biggest version, because just look up WWE Thunderdome, you'll see that massive wall of fans. It's amazing. Going on to some other things. One of the things that I noticed was that James McGrath was part of Alyssa Beard's support group, and my immediate first thought was, why isn't he competing? I thought he was cleared to compete. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I probably should have asked James himself before I filmed this review, but oh well. I'm sure he'll tell me at some point. But yeah, disappointing to see him cheering Alyssa on and not competing himself. Obviously he should support Alyssa, but he can do both. He could certainly do both, I like to imagine. It was good to see Sadie Zimmerman on the course again. I was a fan of her before she broke out, and seeing her do well, making it to the Slingshot, and doing well and moving on, more importantly, was nice to see. How did she fall? Oh yeah, she just missed one of the rungs. She went too sideways, I believe. Oh yeah, that's right. Towards the end, it was like a weird dismount. Speaking of weird dismounts, Flip Rodriguez, his fail on the slingshot was like violent. It was like it shot off. Like he went too far to one side of the cradle and it just shot up in the air. It made a loud sound. He fell in the water. Oh, it was nuts. It was nuts. Thanks, William. William here, coming to you live from my car to give you this week's comment question. The question is, what is your opinion of the format for American Ninja Warrior this season? It's very simple, but yet there's a lot to think about. Do you like the abridged version that they're going for, or would you have preferred for them to wait until we had the all clear to do a proper season? Should we have then just done a Midoriyama course with 150 people taking on a 4-stage course? Or maybe something else. Maybe this format's fine, but there's a few tweaks you would have liked. Let me know in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to know when next week's review goes live. Alright, William, back to you. So some noticeable fast forwards before I get to some more runs. Very disappointed about Dave Kavanaugh going out early. You know, he fell on a rib run. You know, I've always been a big fan of Dave, and sometimes it happens. But of course, they fast forward him, in a run where he didn't clear. They'll find any excuse to fast forward the guy. Casey Suhaki also failed the slingshot. Did he qualify? Oh, he didn't. Casey Suhaki didn't qualify. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. What else? What other notable? I feel like that's everyone who I want to talk about. Michael Johnston's like the last one. Ice in his veins. He ended up failing the slingshot also. Was not fast enough. That's unfortunate. We don't get to see him. But we got to see his teammate, Anthony Ederle. I remember him from last year. I respect any man who wears a electric singlet. I love his look. Anthony ended up failing on the ring chase. He tried catching it with his foot, but he couldn't, and he just couldn't make the transfer. He missed the hook, and that made me sad. There's a lot of stuff. I think it's sort of weird because it's like, I don't know. It was a different vibe. Like, you can tell it was a different vibe. And in many ways, I liked that. But at the same time, I don't know if it was fully good. I think it was good. We got, a bit of a variety of fluff pieces. Some of it was sad, but some of it was like, funny and happy. Like, talking about the teachers with their students, or Jody Avila being coached by his son. That was fun. Or going with just the twins, the Hollingshed twins. I believe they're the hang gliders. That's fun. That was a fun little thing, like seeing the hang glider stuff. It like for a first round, it felt like more chill than usual, and I think that's just by nature of they had less people to pull from, and as a result, they had to, I guess, sort of stretch who they could actually show. Not just and what they could use as like fluff pieces to really kind of highlight these people. And it almost feels like ANW is like being forced to be, I guess, maybe a little more creative with the editing out of necessity. Even though like the editing was kind of, sloppy this episode because they had to, completely remove the power tower and their returning champion because he got arrested for some horrible crimes. But I'm just watching. I'm just like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is fun. Like, honestly, it's a lot of fun. One other important fast forward that I didn't mention was Jonathan Horton. He moved on, which is a big deal. And Tyler Gillette, they fast forwarded him even though he cleared. So, yeah, they're both moving on. Honestly, I was surprised that Jonathan Horton moving on just because I think historically he has been associated with not being fast on the course. So him being fast enough is a nice improvement. I'm glad to see that from him. Oh yes, my man Grant McCartney and also Mike Wright, both part of the same team with Cameron Wimberly. It was so nice to see Mike clear the course for the first time. His run on the ring chase was especially fun because I think it was him. It might have been someone else. I think it was him. He kind of he jumped ahead so he can like get a head start and then pull the lever for the ring to be released. And then using his long reach, he was able to get through really quickly and grab the ring. I feel like he made the ring chase look easier than anyone else. And then he cleared the course, and it was nice. And one thing that was interesting that I noticed in a few of these runs is that the button, at least the main warped wall button, has a camera inside of it. So you look down, and you can be like, hello, down there. It's interesting. I don't know if it's really necessary, but, you know, it's a thing. The first person who they showed clearing was Nate Hanson, who was only 5'2" due to a growth deficiency. He was part of Tyler Gillette's team, and he was really impressive. I liked the way he looked on the course. He ended up finishing fourth technically, even though the website says third. I thought it was really smart of the editing to put Taylor Johnson in 12th just to sort of fill in the gaps in all that. But other than that, what else is worth mentioning? I feel like that's just about it. That's really everything I wanted to mention. I guess the last thing I want to talk about, according to my notes. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's two things I want to mention. Tegan Rebel, just shout out for using for helping special needs kids. I always have a special place in my heart for people who do that. Unfortunately, she fell the ring chaser in probably the worst way possible. First off, she wasn't even close to catching the ring. And then when she was trying to use the smaller ring, she slipped off before she can even go for the proper lâché, and that cannot be a good feeling. And then Grant McCartney, always a fun run. I'm always worried about time when it comes to him because he's known for being a bit on the slower side. His profile was about tearing fruit. But they showed him failing the mega wall, and it just didn't work out this time around, unfortunately. There was actually apparently 3 mega wall attempts, but they didn't bother showing the other 2, which was Mike Wright, whose run they did show, and I believe John Alexis attempted it, but he didn't get shown at all, bizarrely. And then they saved Jody Avila for last, and, honestly, there's not much to say about Jody except he looked good. He's the big dog ninja for a reason. The man is massive, and he used that to his advantage perfectly. Able to get through the ring chaser easily, and the big dog ninja was able to get through the rib run very fast and easily. My only concern was whether or not the big dog can get past the slingshot, and he was able to do it so well and make it to the top of the warped wall with the second fastest time of the night. So, that's about everything. Let's just go over the results. So, like I said, 38 total runs. One was completely erased from existence. There was 9 completions, but again, 1 they don't want you to know about. 1 person failed the shrinking steps, 10 people failed wait for it, 5 failed the ring chaser, 3 failed ring run, rib run, 10 failed the slingshot, and no one failed the warped wall. But 3 attempted the mega wall but failed. And your people moving on are Drew Dreschel, who they're not going to show or acknowledge, Jody Avila, Tyler Gillette, Nate Hanson, John Alexis Jr., Julius Ferguson, Mike Wright, and Grant McCartney, and Alyssa Beard, who all who all cleared the course. And rounding out the top 12 was Flip Rodriguez, Jonathan Horton, and Ryan Leshoff, who all failed the slingshot. And rounding out the top 3 women were Taylor Johnson and Sandy Zimmerman, who both failed the slingshot. So, that is it for me. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and don't forget to answer that comment question that I asked earlier. And hey, thank you all very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. And hey, watch my preview if you haven't seen it yet. I'll see you all next time. Later.